Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Further Beyond Gaming. My name is Cody GT, and in today's video we are finally taking a look at the version 4.1 tier list, a video that I've been wanting to provide you guys for quite some time. I do apologize for it being late, but we are here right now, and I wanted to try something a little bit different. I wanted to go ahead and list the Valkyries first, and then kind of go through it and give my reasons for why they're in the certain tier that they're in. So let me know in the comments down below if you prefer it to be done this way or the way I did it for my version 4.0 tier list. Also, quick disclaimer before we jump into it, this is just my opinion on what I think, just from a generalization standpoint of all the Valkyries, so not specifically in Memorial Arena or Abyss or any other events, but just in general. And we're going to be looking at them with their applicable gear and stigmatas. I don't want to go too in depth with different stigmata builds and how it can be more optimal and different weapons and things of that nature. Just their applicable gear and just a generalization overall in the game of Honkai. This is how I would tier them. So if you do enjoy today's video, go ahead and drop a like, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and consider subscribing. And remember, a link to the Discord will be in the description below. Go ahead and join the Discord today. Now let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So of course we have the S+ tier. These are the meta defining Valkyries, the OP god tier Valkyries, and then of course we go down from there. Now there are some Valkyries where I'm not going to spend too much time on because I don't want the video to be too long, and then there's other Valkyries where I'll go a little more in depth and explain the reasons behind it. But if you want to get more of my take, you can look at my version 4.0 tier list and kind of compare, because I may have changed up where they are in the tier setting, so it may be different from that one, just based on, you know, what I think of them now in a sense. So let's go ahead, let's jump straight into it. So of course we're gonna go ahead and start out in the S+ tier, the god tier. And these Valkyries I think are just obviously absolutely amazing. I think they're a must-have on your account, and I think they are the type of Valkyrie that will really just carry you through any type of event in the game and, you know, allow you to have no issues with it. So let's go ahead and start out with Celestial Hymn. It should be to no one's surprise one of probably the best supporting Valkyrie in the game. Such a great physical support for your physical damage dealers. Just an amazing Valkyrie overall. That, you know, we all know about Celestial Hymn. Moving on from there, we have Cyber Angel Bronya. Of course, I still think she's absolutely amazing. She's fallen down a little bit for me as we progressed a little bit further in the game, but still one of the best Valkyries that you can possibly have on your account. Such an amazing damage dealer, has damage reduction. She pretty much does it all for you. A fantastic ultimate. So absolutely amazing, able to heal, things of that nature. Now, Thunder May. Obviously, this is a new Valkyrie that just came in version 4.1, and I think she is S+ tier. I think she is God tier. I think she's absolutely amazing. She just does tremendous amount of damage. She's able to do even more damage against mecha types. She's able to have a bit of damage reduction, some healing. I think her ultimate is probably one of the best, if not the best ultimate in the game. She's just absolutely amazing all around. I think her ultimate evasion is fantastic, being able to proc that when you want to. Time fracture, she has it all. Plain and simple, she has it all, and she's absolutely amazing. So that's where I put Thunder May. Moving on, Stygia Nymph, to no one's surprise, I had her in the S+ tier in my last tier list. Absolutely amazing. Quantum type right there alone is amazing. One of the hardest hitting physical types you can have. She's just great. All around a fantastic Valkyrie. Moving on to Bright Knight Durandal, she will round out the S+ tier. Also keep in mind really quickly that the way they are in the tier isn't necessarily how I see them. So for example, Celestial Hymn, I don't necessarily see her better than Cyber Angel Bronya, and Cyber Angel Bronya not better than Thunder May. Just wanted to make that clear just in case you were wondering. They're not in any particular order in the actual tier. Alright, so Bright Knight Durandal, I've preached this. You guys know this if you've been on my channel for any amount of time. She's probably second most favorite Valkyrie, right next to Thunder May. I think her retaliation mechanic is the best mechanic in the game. I think it's absolutely broken, and I think that's what makes her god tier. Plus she has healing, plus she's just hits tremendously hard. She's just all around a fantastic Valkyrie, and I think she's probably the best Valkyrie for Abyss. She, in my opinion, is the queen of the Abyss. So Bright Knight Durandal, can't say anything more about her. Moving on from there, we have Ice Rita. So we're going to move to the S tier. We have Ice Rita, fantastic Valkyrie. Sage Fuhua, a really, really good support. We have Kasumi here, who is a fantastic damage dealer, lightning elemental type. And then we have Memento. I put Memento in the S tier. I think she's fantastic, especially if you have the Frozen Naraka pre-arm fully maxed out. She can hit tremendously hard. God Kiana, the same thing. I put her in the S tier because if you do have the Keys of the Void maxed out, pre-armed, she hits tremendously hard. Really good against shields. So I think God Kiana is fantastic. I put Lightning Empress here because with the Mag Typhoon fully maxed out as well, she could be a pseudo damage dealer, a good psychic support as well. Great for your lightning damage dealer. So I put her here for mainly her supporting capabilities, but with the Mag Typhoon, it really cements her place here in my opinion. Phoenix is just an all-around fantastic Valkyrie, great elemental supporter, great for your psychic damage dealer. She hits hard, her ultimate hits hard, so I have no problems putting her there in the S tier. Moving on to Shadow Knight, I put Shadow Knight here as well, and very similar to why I have these two here, or these three I should say, is because of the Nuada's Revenge just provides Shadow Knight so much that she needed, so it really boosts her up in the tiers in my opinion. Makes her an extremely hard hitter, and she has a tremendous amount of damage reduction, so it really helped her out a lot in my opinion, and so that's why she deserves to be here, I think, with that pre-arm. Also, forgot to mention, with Kasumi, you have not only the Mag Typhoon, but she can also utilize Thunder Maze applicable weapon as well, so that's really good for her also, so that's another reason. And now we have SP Teresa. So I was super tempted at putting SP Teresa in the S plus tier right here. I was really tempted at doing that, but if I'm being tremendously unbiased, I have to put her in the S tier. I think she's fantastic. She's probably one of my most favorite Valkyries to use. I use her on just about every single team. She's such a great support. I love her mechanic, being able to proc their QTE but not actually have her come in onto the field. I think that's such a great mechanic. I want to see that on more Valkyries moving forward. She's such a great physical damage dealing supporter. She can do some pretty decent damage herself. And her ultimate evasion is really cool. Another cool mechanic to where it stays on the floor, you switch out, and another Valkyrie can proc the time fracture. I think that's really cool. So many good benefits for SP Teresa that I was really tempted to put her here. But if I'm being really unbiased, I think she's probably S tier. I don't think she's God tier OP meta defining. But she has a really cool kit, so I'll put her in the S tier, but I do truly like her. I like her a lot. Moving on to Vermilion Knight, I would put her in the S tier. I think she's fantastic. She hits hard, great fire damage dealer, has really good invincibility frames. You can spam her ultimate, really good Valkyrie. Now I have Yamabuki armor here, specifically for her augmentation as well, so as Drive Komata. So when we're taking a look at these Valkyries, I'm looking also at their augmentation, and we'll get to that in just a second here with the other two, or the other ones I should say. But I have Yamabuki armor here because of Drive Komata. I think Drive Komata is absolutely fantastic, such a great supporter. If we're talking about just Yamabuki armor herself, I would probably put Yamabuki armor herself down here simply for her shield and her supporting capabilities. But if we're talking about Drive Komata, I put her in the S tier. I think she's fantastic. And then Valkyrie Gloria, I think Valkyrie Gloria is extremely good. I think she's a hard hitter. You can rank her up very easily, and she's a quantum type, so I put her there. Also in the S tier, which we don't have the actual layout, so I do apologize about that. But also in the S tier, I would put obviously Hawk of the Fog in the S tier. Now there are, you know, arguments that she can be in the S plus tier, that God tier level, but I don't think her kit warrants that enough. Yes, she's a tremendously hard damage dealer, that is very true, but if you look at these other Valkyries here in the God tier, they just offer more in their kit. So for example, damage reduction, healing, and hard hitter, damage reduction and healing and hard hitter, extremely hard hitter, neutral typing, you know, the retaliation mechanic, hard hitter, healing, damage reduction. So there's just more that they offer compared to Hawk of the Fog. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and that's why I put Hawk of the Fog in the S tier. But if we're talking about Valkyrie Accipiter herself, I would put her in the B tier, and we'll get to that in just a second. Also in the S tier, I would go ahead and put Void Drifter. Oh, wrong one. I would put Void Drifter in the S tier as well, just because I think she offers a lot. She can one-shot some bosses. Yeah, and I mean she's good. She offers a lot, and I think she's good on a lot of different teams. So I put her there. But if we're talking about just Valkyrie Ranger herself, I would put her here in the S tier, or in the C tier, excuse me. And we'll get into the other ones here in just a second also. So that would round out the S tier in my opinion. Now moving on to the A tier. Now this is going to be very interesting because Blood Rose. Now Blood Rose I will put in the A tier as of right now, but I think with her pre-arm, in my opinion, now I can't state this until version 4.2, but I think she would move up to the S tier. But as of right now, I would put her in the A tier until we get version 4.2, and then I do a tier list for that. Obviously this will get updated, so we'll see at that time. Divine Prayer I put in the A tier. I think she has great supporting capabilities, but she's just lacking in the damage dealing department, so I would just put her in the A tier here. Flame Sakitama, I really like Flame Sakitama, obviously, and then her Ruinous Sakura really makes her a hard hitter, but and she has Time Fracture, but I just don't see her as an S tier Valkyrie. In my opinion, I think she's just A tier. Night Moonbeam I think is great. She has really good kit with her Time Fracture, being able to proc that just pretty much whenever. A decently hard hitter as well. Yeah, the QTE. You know, I could put her in the S tier. I would feel comfortable putting her in the S tier. I think her kit is too good. I think she offers too much, so I'll put her in the S tier. I think she is right along line with those other Valkyries now that I'm looking at it. Now moving on from there, we do have Rosalia. I put Rosalia in the A tier along with Lilia. I think they're great, but I think that's where they, you know, deserve to be. Night Squire, obviously, her burst damage is off the charts. She hits tremendously hard. But I think that's really about it. You know, has Time Fracture on an Ultimate Evasion, but which, you know, what Valkyrie doesn't nowadays. So I think A tier is appropriate. Six Serenade, as much as it pains me, as much as I would love to put her in the S tier because I think she could be S tier material, I just don't think she outputs the damage enough to be considered in the S tier. Now her Tranquil Rhapsody does really make her fantastic, but I think she is A tier. She would need some type of buff, some type of rework in her kit, something that would allow her to, you know, just hit a little bit harder. If she had that, then I think she would be S tier, no questions about it. But as of right now, I think A tier is appropriate. And then we have Swallowtail Phantasm. I think she's great. She offers tremendous amount of burst damage. She is a quantum type, but I just don't think she's S tier along with these Valkyries. I think she's really good A tier, very high A tier. So I think like these three right here are very, very high A tier. I mean, you can even say these two here as well are very high A tier, very close to S tier. Umbral Rose, fantastic. Just did a showcase on her. She's absolutely amazing. Valkyrie Chariot, really, really good as well, but I think A tier is appropriate, as well as Violet Executor. I think A tier is appropriate. And then Wolfston, a really good elemental supporter, but I would really say that's about it, to be quite honest with you. So I think A tier is good for her as well. Now moving on to B tier, we have Black Nucleus. I mean, not much to say there. I think that's where she deserves to be. Miko, just did a showcase on her. She still is really good, but I just don't think she, you know, has enough in her kit to make her A tier. So I have her in B tier. Scarlet Fusion, I think, is really good. She has some great supporting capabilities, but that's really about it. So I put her in the B tier. Snowy Sniper, I mean, there could be arguments that you could put Snowy Sniper up here. Like I mentioned, I just did a showcase for her as well, and she actually turned out to be really, really good. Like, her ultimate and her switch skill is extremely valuable, even to, you know, in today's meta. So I would have no qualms putting her in the A tier. We could definitely do that. Now moving over to Valkyrie Triumph, I think she's great, but I think B tier is good for her. I mean, I like her a lot. She was the Valkyrie that I used the most very early Honkai, but, you know, nowadays she just, you know, she's just not up to par. And then Valkyrie Accipiter, just really good at bursting down the shields. But I think that's, you know, really about it. So I think B tier is appropriate. Moving over to Ice Himiko, you know, she's great. She's Ice Himiko. Moving on to Dimension Breaker. Once again, did a showcase on her. She is still really good, but she just doesn't offer enough, in my opinion. She would need a rework as well. Luna Kindred, to be quite honest with you, don't have enough experience with her, but I just don't think she has enough, you know, to be able to be, you know, warranted a higher status than C tier. Phantom Iron, I don't have any experience with this Valkyrie, but I think she is C tier worthy. Ritual Callan, I think she is C tier worthy as well. She's pretty decent, but, you know, nothing to write home about. Same with Sukuna Rondo, she's, you know, decent, but nothing great. And then we have Huntress Callan. I know Huntress Callan can be good. I mean, you could even argue that she is in the B tier. I would not, you know, I wouldn't debate you on that. If you wanted to say she's B tier, that's perfectly fine. Valkyrie Pledge, you know, she's decent, but nothing really to talk about. And then Valkyrie Ranger, you know, I think she's C class worthy. And then of course we have the D tier. So we have Battlestorm, who, you know, is Battlestorm. We have Crimson Impulse, who, you know, is Crimson Impulse. And then we have White Comet, yeah, who we know is White Comet. Anyways, and then we have Valkyrie Blade Strike, who I think is probably the worst. But if we're talking about Striker Fulminata, I would put Striker Fulminata in the A tier. I think she is A tier worthy. Oh, is she A tier worthy? No, I don't think she's A tier worthy. I actually think she's B tier worthy. I think she fits right along here. I don't think she's A tier worthy. Is she? No, I think A tier. There's better Valkyries in the A tier. So I think she's B tier worthy for Striker Fulminata. But if we're talking about Valkyrie Blade Strike, I would put her in the D tier. So just looking back, taking a look at everything, I feel comfortable with this tier list for version 4.1 as of right now. But as always, I would love you guys to go in the comments down below. Let me know where you would list them, or if there's one in particular that you think is just extremely egregious, let me know that in the comments down below. Let me know what list or what tier you would put them in, because I know you guys have very different opinions, and that's okay. It's always a good thing. You know, like I mentioned, this is just for fun. This is just to have a good time. And it's always fun doing a tier list and, you know, ranking the Valkyries, seeing where they're at and things of that nature. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you liked what you saw. Remember to go in the comments down below. Let me know how you would rank these Valkyries, and I will see you guys in the next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, until next time, it's your homie Cody GT, and I'm out.